Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great and welcome back to another video. Today we will take a look at the Ascent, a small game from a small studio of 12 people, but technically it's impressive and one of the best looking games so far this year. But on day one it suffers from a lot of technical problems regarding performance and stuttering issues. It's much more better now, but still needs more fixing. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a fix I found on Nexus Mod website to eliminate any stuttering from the game. As I said before, the game looks great and it's packed with details, NPCs and great looking objects and effects. And since it's built with Unreal Engine 4, the graphics menu looks familiar. We have the typical more demanding trio, which is shadows, post-processing and effects quality. But first, let's start with texture quality. Comparing the four options, you can clearly see that these settings affect only the texture quality of some scenes. But even with that, and from my experience, I don't recommend using Ultra texture if you have 4GB of VRAM. Heavier scenes will cause the VRAM usage to jump to around 4GB, and this will cause a lot of stuttering. So here, just use high if you have 4GB. Now moving on to one of the big trio I've mentioned before, shadow quality. This setting doesn't affect only the shadows in the game, but also the quality of lighting. Here at this scene you can see that low basically means shadows off, and that makes the game looks really bad. From medium things start to look better, and we start getting shadows near and far, but that lowered the performance by 17%. While high looks and costs almost the same as medium, Ultra looks superior. You can see that the quality of lighting from this sign and this lamp improved, but in my opinion that doesn't worth 30% of our frame rates. So here I recommend medium or high and avoid low if you can. Next one is anti-aliasing. Looking at low you can see that it's not the optimal way to play. The game looks full of shimmering and jagged edges which significantly impact the image quality. Here I recommend using Ultra since this setting doesn't have any performance costs. Another one of the big trio is post-processing. From what I have noticed, this setting controls two things: depth of field during cutscenes and ambient occlusion. When it comes to depth of field, you can see here that low disabled this effect completely. From medium we see its return with 13% impact to performance. High basically looks the same and lower FPS by 16% from low. Ultra of course have better quality bokeh depth of field with minimal artifact and cost around 23% of performance. Now if we look at ambient occlusion, just like depth of field before, low disable AO completely. Medium improve the image quality and enable AO with 7% impact to frame rates. High looks better with 10% cost and Ultra is a little bit above with 13% cost. So here for post-processing I recommend medium since it gives the best balance between performance and visuals. You get both ambient occlusion and depth of field without losing too much frame rates. And the most useless setting is view distance. It doesn't do anything since this game is a top-down shooter and most objects you see are close to camera anyway. And after looking so long for a place where this setting works, I found this scene. With higher options some little details start to appear here compared to low. Performance wise no difference at all. So here just use Ultra. And the last setting from the big trio is effects quality, which control more than one thing. First we have screen space reflections. Low and medium disable SSR completely. We see its return from high and Ultra offer almost the same quality. The next one this setting control is alpha effects like fire here, where both low and medium looks good. High and Ultra give better quality fire and particles and more smoke compared to the lower options. Effects also control steam throughout the game. Here low and medium offer less steam compared to high and Ultra. Now for this setting I recommend sticking with medium if you don't care about SSR, but if you do, then high is the optimal option for you. Now let's talk about the two APIs in the game, DirectX 11 and 12. I really don't recommend using the X12, as you can see the frame rates and frame times are all over the place. The game stutters even at the main menu. I heard that the latest update fixed this problem, but at least with the RX 480 it's still a mess. I'll skip film grain and motion blur since these two are purely down to personal preference. Now let's take a look at the setting which this latest update add, called CPU performance mode, which should help low-end PCs with weak processors. I did a test with my CPU, and to make the game more CPU limited, I put everything on low and used 15% resolution scaling at 1080p. And I've noticed that the frame rates are a bit higher when using this option. And the CPU usage is also a little bit lower. So if you have a weak CPU which goes near 90%, 100% all the time, and you're facing some frame times problem and lag, use this option. The last setting is physics objects, which it didn't do anything at all during my testing. I don't know if it's broken or something, but with both on and off I get the same quality of destruction and physics while playing the game. So just in case, leave this one on. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'll show you a way to fix any stuttering problems if you have them. Now, this solution doesn't require downloading anything. All you need to do is head to the link I'll leave down at the description. And as you can see here, it's not 100%, so it may or may not work for you. Also, this will put more strain on your hardware, so keep an eye on your performance while using this solution. Now all you need to do is copy these commands from here and then go to your hard drive or C, then go to users, your username, up data, and then go to local and look for the Ascent. Go to saved, config, and then Windows No Editor, and look for engine. Now all you need to do is paste those commands here. After that, save the file, close it, and then go to the file, click with the right mouse button and check read only and apply, and this should apply this fix. Now if you liked this video and enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a dislike if you didn't. If you have any question or anything you want to say, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.